Here's a look at your daily market report on this Friday, the 24th day of January. Starting to see some negotiated feedlot trade develop prior to the cattle and feed report that will come out later this afternoon. We'll talk about some of those numbers here shortly. First, we want to give you a couple of updates to some special cow sales that will be happening over the weekend. One of them actually tonight at the China Livestock Market. It'll get started about 6 o'clock this evening. They're expecting to have about 400 head of replacement cows there. Then Lawley Brothers Livestock Market in Macon, they're going to have a special cow sale tomorrow on Saturday. That'll kick off right before lunch at about 11 a.m. They're expecting to have about 400 head or so there as well. Yesterday, feeder cattle auctions around the state, kind of light. Mocan Livestock Market in Butler, they had 556 head. Feeder steers and heifers there were stayed at $5 higher, except for a couple fancy groups of 5.5 to 6 weight grazing type steers that sold up to $15 higher. At Mid-Missouri Stockyards in Phillipsburg, they had 1,085 head there. The market very uneven from 6 lower to 14 higher. And then at New Cambria Livestock Market on Thursday, they had 683 head. Feeder steers and heifers there, mostly $5 to $10 higher, with the exception of some 6 to 7 weight steers that traded near steady. The feeder steers in New Cambria, medium and large ones, the 5 to 6 weights at $344 to $375.50, 6 to 7 weights at $314.5 to $328.50, some 7 to 8 weights at $295 to $300 even. The feeder heifers, 4.5 to 5 weights at $319 to $350, 5 to 6 weights at $308 to $336, 6 to 7 weights at $278 to $294.5, some 7 to 750 pound heifers at $273 to $274.50. Taking a look at the box beef cutout values this morning. Choice $328.77, down $2.19. Select at $316.13. That was down $1.08. Those values based on 77 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds, and the Choice Select spread setting at $12.64. Negotiated feedlot trade, as of the recording of this report, just prior to noon on Friday, we've had just over 18,000 head of confirmed negotiated sales. Some of that trade still taking place, and more will develop throughout the day. Today in Texas, been about 2,000 head reported, 201 to 202. Kansas has reported about 6,300 head, 201 to 205. In Iowa, they're up to about 2,600 head, from 205 up to 211. Dress sales at 320 to 325. Nebraska's reported about 2,800 head so far, 205 to 210. Dress sales at 320 to 325. All of those higher prices have come later in the week this week on some of the most recent sales. Taking a look at the midday futures markets, live cattle, February's up 292. 204.02, just continuing to push that all-time nearby record high even higher. April 202.65 up 192, and June at 197.15 up 145. Feeder cattle for January 278.42 up $1.35, March at 275.40 up 132, and April 274.30 up 185. Laden hogs for February 12 cents higher, 82.25, April down 2, 87.17, and May at 91.97 down 2. On the board of trade, corn contracts, the first 3 months all down 2 3/4. March at 4.87, May 4.96.5, and July 4.98. Soybeans 7.5 to 8.25 lower at midday. March at 10.57 1/4, May 10.69.5, July 10.81. Wheat contracts are 9 to 11.5 lower. March at 5.42.5, May at 5.58, and July 5.69 1/4. Soybean meal for March down $10.80 a ton at 304.50. Soybean oil for March up 24 cents a hundredweight at 45.28. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your daily market report for Friday. This is Tony Hancock.